sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've now less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Please be seated. Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. My name is Eunice Friesen, and I'm honored to be here to remember the life of Betty Wathen with you today. Thank you all for coming. There's no better act of service than this on one of the hardest days of this family's life than to walk alongside them. Nina, Chester, Keith, and Carl, who aren't with us today, but their families have come. And it's good to have you here because it's nice to know that Betty made a big impression on your lives as well as her family's lives. Let's open with prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the life of Betty. While it's painful to gather this reason, in the midst of our pain, we give great thanks. You have gifted us with the friendship and love of an amazing woman. And as we hold this celebration of life, we remember all the good times that we've spent with her. We recount the blessings that we've received through her life, and we thank you, Lord, for the wonderful ways that you've used Betty in the life of every person here. Lord, thank you that you've enabled us to gather here today to celebrate a life well lived. In your name we pray. Amen. I didn't have the opportunity to know Betty, although I had met her when I was with the family to say goodbye to her son Dan. So I don't know her well, but in a little bit I'll be able to talk a little bit about her, of course. But the best stories come from you, her friends, and her family. So in a little bit, we are going to be having an open mic. I'm telling you now so that you can take a moment to gather your thoughts and your courage, if you need to do that, to get up and come share a short story or a memory about Betty. First, I'd like to invite up Nina to deliver the eulogy.
Courage. Okay.
Gather your courage, Nina.
Right on. So on behalf of my family, there's some sitting on there and there's some sitting over here. On behalf of my family, we would like to thank you all for being here today to celebrate the life and share all the great memories of our mother, Betty Wathen. For those of you who have had the pleasure of knowing my mother will remember how wonderful she was. I am her daughter, Nina. Mom was born in 1942 in High River, Alberta, and grew up on a farm just west in the Longview area. When she was young, she was able to avoid polio and a rabies outbreak, and later in life, she survived COVID. Mom told me stories of what precautions they had to take to prevent the virus back then. They had to be escorted to school because of the rabies and all the wild animals, and she remembers the schools closing down many times. Mom was educated in a one-room schoolhouse. Oh, the stories I heard. I'm sure my brothers did too. Bare feet, uphill, both ways, yaddy yaddy. Everybody knows those stories. But I do know that she did not have the luxury of a school bus and had to be nice to a horse in order to get back and forth each day, or she had to walk. In 1959, my mom married my dad, Gordon Wathen, in High River, Alberta. Within a few years after they moved up north to pursue farming, they farmed initially in the Spirit River area. Then later in 1967, they found land and settled in for many years on a farm in Besançon. This is where she raised her 5 children and discovered that she could earn a living doing what she loved, and that is growing plants. From 1973 to 1980, she operated the Besançon greenhouses on that farm. I remember there were always customers coming and going. I also want to mention that I see Faye and Ernie Bart. They were always at the farm. Faye worked for my mom and cleaning our house, and you guys were always there doing stuff and helping my parents. I remember there were always customers coming and going. Mom and I took plants every Saturday morning to the farmer's market in a big van that we called the Gypsy Wagon. That van was used right up into the 90s. I learned how to drive in that stupid thing. In 1980, Mom moved to Grand Prairie and met Ken Marcy, who became her best friend. Together they operated Garden World for many years here in the city of Grand Prairie. In 1988, Mom fell in love with a piece of property in Wembley and just had to have it. Shortly after, she started up the Wembley greenhouses and never looked back from there. However, she didn't stop with only one business venture. At the same time, she opened the Christmas store and flowers gift shop on Main Street in Grand Prairie and ran that until 1994. She loved doing floral arrangements. Over the years, she grew flowers and provided hanging baskets for the city of Grand Prairie and many of the small surrounding areas like Sexsmith and Hythe and those kind of towns. Her largest and most dear to her heart contract was always for the multiple T West buildings. She always talked about that. She'd still be doing those baskets today if she could. When Mom was in Wembley, she was active in the community. From 1993 to 96, she was on town council. She even ran for mayor at one time. She helped get the FCSS started. She got involved with the Business Association and started even a business newsletter. She was a supporter of Communities in Bloom. She worked tirelessly with Grand Spirit to get a seniors facility built in the community. She thought her property would be a great location and even had ground testing done, but unfortunately that didn't work out. Her biggest enjoyment was when all her grandchildren would gather around her at her Wembley home and play endless hours in the pool. Mom loved growing plants, and she was good at it. When she was young, she realized she could earn a living doing something she loved. That is how it all transpired over the years. Growing the most beautiful petunias was her passion. She was the go-to person if you needed to know about a problem with a plant or a tree. The human Google reference, per se, long before Google. Mom had a wealth of knowledge. When she was young, her parents owned and operated a greenhouse business, and obviously she paid attention. For the next 33 years, she ran the Wembley greenhouses. Oh, how we would cringe when she would purchase any new piece of electronics. How many of you have ever had to teach a senior citizen how to run a cell phone? Well, it was all hands on deck in my house whenever Grandma needed help with electronics. My two sons were often recruited for the task. I was horrified when she wanted to learn Facebook. I will actually miss the arguments between my mom and my husband, Chester, which is their only son-in-law. The arguments would always start with her saying, "Well, I don't know about that." And then the fight would begin, and then just leave those two alone because they'd fight for hours. In 2006, her best friend Ken passed away, and that was the first time in her whole life that she was on her own. It was a real change for her, but she persevered and she flourished. In late 2021, we had to make Mom retire. She was 79 years old. She was such a hard worker all her life, and it was hard for her to quit. She would still be running that greenhouse business today if she could. She was a very independent person, and it was a struggle for her to need help with things that she never needed help with before. We moved her into a cute little condo in Emerald Gardens in early 2022. There she got continuous 24-hour care and assistance. Whatever she needed, she received, and man, did she ever take advantage of that. But this is what every senior citizen deserves. The staff at Emerald was fantastic, and Mom loved them all. The perks included no more home maintenance or home repair headaches. She now had air conditioning. She binge-watched everything on Netflix, Tubi, YouTube, and Prime Television. I figured that might keep her out of trouble, but she still complained that there was nothing to watch. Chester and I would constantly hear, "There's nothing to watch on Netflix anymore." She loved watching anything to do with the royals and could answer anything historical about them. I called it Grandma's porn. Every time I walked into the room, there would be sex, like, royal people and sex. So I called it Grandma's porn. She was really upset when the newspapers stopped. I had to subscribe to the Beaver Lodge Town and Country paper to try and keep the peace on that subject. She had daily meals made for her, so no more grocery shopping. She received constant care, which relieved a lot of my worrying. Something that I didn't realize about my mom was that she was quite reserved and shy. Roles became reversed quite quickly, with me often saying, "You get out there and go mingle and find some friends." I can remember her saying this when I was little. She very much missed living in Wembley, but she realized that the time had come she needed to move. Fortunately, she did find a few Scrabble buddies, and her good friend Veronica stopped in often for a round. I was happy to see that my mom was as sharp as a tack right to the very end. Mom was fortunate to do some traveling over the years. You need to take that? Oh, just kidding. Mom was fortunate to do some traveling over the years. She went to Alaska twice, once in 1974 when we were small, in the gypsy wagon, before the highway was paved, so we ate dust all the way. She went again in 2015 with her sister Karen. This time the highway was paved and they traveled in a much nicer van. She went to Vegas multiple times over the years. In 2008, she went to Portugal with her sister Karen. In early 2009, she went on a Caribbean cruise, also with her sister Karen. And then in the fall that same year, she took a bus tour across Canada to the Maritimes with her friend Janice McCracken. She was teaching me yesterday how to say her last name. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. In 2010, Mom visited a cousin in Mesa, Arizona. And in 2012, her and I took a mother-daughter trip to Vegas in a bus tour to the Grand Canyon. Anyone who knew Betty knew she would do anything to help a friend. Many will miss her dearly and will forever cherish her memories. She guaranteed me that she would watch over all of us. On her 80th birthday last year, many friends and longtime customers wrote their fond memories of Betty and the Wembley greenhouses in a memory book. I have that book here today. If anyone would like to add to it, they're welcome to just come and find me. I brought it here. and it's going to go to Shauna after because it was kind of her idea, and it was really a very wonderful idea. Saying goodbye to my mom was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Having one more Thanksgiving or Christmas gathering would have been my preference. I will miss the countless hours of playing crib or visiting, but I know she is here and she is watching. She left me with instructions to do certain things, and I don't dare not complete them. She kept saying to me that she was content with the life that she had lived. In the last few weeks, she craved McDonald's milkshakes and Crooked Creek donuts. Oh, we were always hauling them over to her condo. I just let her be happy, whatever she wanted. It was not a time to diet. She will be reunited with her son Dan and best friend Ken Marcy, whom she missed both very dearly. Again, thank you all for coming and celebrating my mom's life today. I also want to thank Eunice and Doug and all their staff here at Bear Creek for being so supportive and doing a fantastic job with organizing this celebration. I hope everyone stays after the service and enjoys some food, and I also want a chance to visit with each of you. So thank you for coming.
I told her she'd make it through. So now is a moment that we can take for open mic, and if there's just something that you'd like to say by way of a favorite memory or a story that you'd like to share, I know that everyone would love to hear. And I think that Shauna wanted to maybe share a story, so you don't even have to be the first up. Shauna's taken the hit for you.
Wouldn't be right if we didn't have the dirtiest one. Yes, no, that's cheap. It was hard to let her go. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I was there with Nina, and it was very hard. She's a beautiful lady, and this clown and I had the gracious. I don't know. Did we learn anything?
More than we needed to know.
I don't even know, and I still don't know if she taught us anything, but we had a lot of laughs, more laughs than anything. Putting the soil in, and the grandkids, Sean and Ryan, making trucks and doing a mess in our boxes, and it was a very, very good, probably, honestly, it was the best boss that I could ever have. She was top-notch, and right up until the day she died, she is still a top-notch lady. When she said she was going to do something, she gave it to you. She said or never that that's the way it was. She's great.
She was awesome.
Yeah, I don't even know what else to say about her. I see a few of yous that worked with us. Thank you for being with us and working with us. You made our days laughing and joking, and I wish that more of them. She has some neighbors that when she lived in Byzance, and I see that they're here. Thanks for coming. We really appreciate your faces. Some family friends from a long time ago, they're here as well. Yeah, I appreciate it for you guys coming, because she loved all of you guys, and there was many years that she did this, and there was a lot of us kids that she helped along the way, and yeah, what an amazing lady. You couldn't have asked for a better mom, Nina, and I know, Chester, that you love to argue with her, and I think that it wouldn't have been any other way. I wouldn't. And Sean and Ryan, thank you so much, or Deborah, for being there for her. you guys are amazing, and she did a hell of a good job with the 4 of you guys. I can't love you enough. And to Chester or Dever, man, did we have to fix a lot of shit, dude. More stuff than we knew. Like, there's always something or whatever that you were fixing in the spring, getting her water system going and stuff like that. And if she didn't have you, like, she would have been lost. And I appreciate you doing all those moments with her, and sorry about your luck, but you had us to deal with as well. And I appreciate that, Dever, for you doing those kinds of things for her, because she wouldn't function every year if it wasn't for you guys. So, you know, everybody said, oh, the greenhouse, and even, you know, Fenton's, she got Fenton's going. Fenton's wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for Betty. She got Sunkissed Acres going, which is my greenhouse. When I told her that I was taking a break, she says, good, take a break, she says. You can start it up anytime. And she says, it's your business, you do what you want. So that's what I'm doing, and if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have had a love for flowers. You and I just came in for a job.
Yeah.
And yeah,
10 years later.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, it was fantastic. Great memories, great times. I seen her eat a lot of Dad's cookies in shitty cold coffee. Maybe that was part of the reason why, I don't know, but she ate a lot of Dad's cookies, and wrote a lot of tags. But yeah, no, it was, I can say honestly that I'm gonna miss my best friend. And thank you guys a lot for being here, for the family and for the rest of us. I appreciate it a lot.
Feel free to come up if you'd like, whenever you're ready.
Hello, I am Sandra. I'm Betty's oldest granddaughter. I wanted to come up here on behalf of her grandchildren. We had a ton of fun at Grandma's growing up. I don't really know much about time when I was little, but it felt like we spent every weekend there. To the point in summers we would just stay there because they would make campsites for us, and we'd play in the pool and campfires, and God forbid we'd tell Grandma we were bored, and next time we went there, there'd be something else there, like a playground and a playhouse and a trampoline. In the winter there'd be a skating rink and snowmobiles and scooters, and being at Grandma's was the best. We had a blast. And canasta nights are always going to hold the most special place in my heart. Having everyone watching TV in the living room on the TV that was never shut off because we didn't know if it would turn back on. And I wish I would have prepared something, but I wasn't sure if I would have an opportunity to talk. But I want everyone here to know that those were the happiest times of my childhood, a lot of them. And I know my sister feels the same, and a lot of my cousins feel the same way. So thank you on behalf of Carl's family and Keith's family for coming. We all very appreciate it. They're not here, but they really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Hi, you guys. We had the privilege, Faye and I, of knowing Betty since 1972. One of the most amazing greenhouse people you'd ever know. In her life, she was never bitter, you know, like she always had good things to say and things like that. And Faye and I always loved it when we went to Wembley and was able to see her. Thanks for being part of the Wathen family.
pleasure of meeting Betty in the early 80s in the Grand Prairie Hospital. And one morning I was standing in the door talking to Betty, and this lady come along, and she was looking for Magnum PI because somebody had hung him out the window to dry during the night, and she wanted to make sure he was still alive. And Betty said, well, if he is, send him our way. And over the years, we developed a pretty good friendship with the old green school bus, hauling plants to town. And Betty was the one that I would phone and tell her about my crazy episodes in my life. And the last one was, we bought a motorhome and we went to Kamloops, and I went to turn around in Belmont with the motorhome, and the ditch giveaway, and needless to say, the 40-foot motorhome was pickup height off the ground in the front, and all Marty could say was, it's not going to end well. So that was my last story with Betty, and I didn't realize that she'd passed away, and over the last week, I've been leaving messages to find out how she is. And Nina, thank you for looking after your mom. She'll always have a special place in Marty and I's heart. I could tell lots of stories about Betty, but those are the ones right now that come to mind. And I don't know if Shauna was there when we had the old green bus, and we packed that sucker full of plants and hauled them to Grand Prairie and hung them up. That's what makes life worthwhile. And like I always told Betty, if you can't laugh in this world, there ain't no point in being here. And we had our laughs till the very end. So thanks, Betty, for being a dear friend.
Thank you for those great memories and stories, and I wish I'd known her. There's a couple more that just came on the condolences on our website that I wanted to share. Wayne Lee says, she was a wonderful lady, and it was a privilege to know her. And this from Sharon Annis, sending positive thoughts and prayers with hugs to Betty's family and friends. She loved to play cards and always had a smile for you. She will be greatly missed. Rest easy, Betty.
Early years, we rode, she had the horse, so we rode the horse. The horse laid down in the slough, and the horse ran away on us, and we had a great time when we were young. So I have so many good memories of Betty that I really didn't get to see much of her in her later years, but we got into so much mischief before that it was just great being with her.
You were content to let me shine. That's your way. You always walked a step behind. So I was the one with all the glory, while you were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without a name for so long. A beautiful smile to hide the pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly high.
How do you fit a lifetime into an hour or under, hey? It's great to watch the pictures and be reminded of all those good times and looking back over the years. Over those years, Betty shared with you her character, her qualities. She reached out to you with them. They are in you because she shared them with you, and they are in your very DNA. There's a few that stood out to me that I want to talk about briefly. And I think you'll recognize these qualities from Betty's life. There's a lot more than this, but these are the ones that stood out for me. Betty lived her life with a great deal of creativity. Creativity is the power of imagination. We are open to inspiration, which ignites our originality. With creativity, we are resourceful and intuitive, and we solve problems in new and surprising ways. We know how to play, or how to create play for grandkids. We take time for dreaming, and discovering our own talents is a gift to the world, whether it's making a meal, or playing a sport, or creating a craft, or growing some flowers. Creativity connects us to the beauty of sound, design, color, movement, ideas, and words, and it allows us to bring something into this world. Creativity truly brings our gifts to fruition. She also lived a life with passion. Passion is the radiant fire that ignites a person's life with purpose and fervor. It's the intense, unwavering enthusiasm for something that drives them forward, infusing their actions with meaning and dedication. This virtue fuels ambition, propelling individuals to pursue their dreams with relentless determination, even in the face of obstacles. Passion imbues life with a profound sense of fulfillment and joy, making each moment more vibrant. It inspires creativity, innovation, and excellence as individuals channel their enthusiasm into their endeavors. Betty was fortunate enough to really find a vocation, not just a job, not just a calling, but a calling that could be her job. That was her vocation, and that was because of her passion. Passionate individuals leave an indelible mark on the world, reminding us all of the transformative power of wholehearted dedication to one's interests and goals. And her independence. Independence represents the capacity to make choices, pursue goals, and navigate life's twists and turns without undue reliance on others. This virtue fosters professional growth as individuals develop the skills and the mindset needed to stand on their own feet. Independence grants freedom to explore individuality, to make decisions aligned with personal values, and to take responsibility for the outcomes. It instills resilience, resourcefulness, and a sense of empowerment, enabling individuals to shape their destinies. Embracing independence enriches life with self-discovery and the ability to thrive on one's own terms, fostering a sense of pride and accomplishment. Now, Betty also lived her life with service. Being of service to others is a virtuous commitment that enriches both the giver and the receiver. It embodies selflessness, kindness, and empathy. This virtue extends a helping hand, providing support, comfort, and aid to those in need. It fosters a sense of community, strengthening human connections and nurturing compassion. It's a reminder that our lives gain profound meaning when we uplift and support others, emphasizing the true measure of one's character, which lies in the willingness to contribute to the well-being and happiness of other human beings. She showed this to us when she worked so tirelessly for her community, whether it was Communities in Bloom or on town council, or when she worked to make the summers of her grandchildren just that much more special. She had one more that she shared with each of you, and that I've heard today you return to her in spades. And that is that she lived her life with love. Love is at the center of our being. It's the vital force that gives us energy and direction. Love is an irresistible attraction and affection for a person, a place, an idea, or even for life itself. Love is cherishing others, treating them with tenderness. Love thrives on acceptance and appreciation, and it has the power to heal. Love calls us to continually hone ourselves, making us ourselves better for those around us. And when it's nurtured by commitment and seasoned by kindness and generosity and inclusion, love is our greatest gift. And in the face of grief, like today, the virtue of love shines brightest because it offers solace and strength. Love serves as a tender embrace, a gentle reminder of the cherished memories shared. And it's a healing force that nurtures wounded hearts. It brings forth unity, empathy, and compassion, enveloping the grieving family with support and understanding. Through love, you honor Betty's life, keeping her spirit alive within your hearts and with each other. May love's enduring power bring comfort and peace to you all during this time. So we have heard a few stories, but I'm sure there are many more to share over coffee. The family would love if you would stay and share fellowship and refreshments together. Memorial donations, if you wish, you can direct through the Grand Prairie Regional Hospital Foundation to the Mozart Mission. The Mozart Mission is an important one. It's a local effort of fundraising that aims to get equipment into our local hospital that will increase and speed up the time of diagnosis of breast cancer, as well as provide treatment here that might not otherwise be available. So that's to the Mozart Mission through the foundation. Don't forget that there are some bells out on the memorial table. Please pick one out and take it home with you in memory of Betty. Also, take a pen. You would have signed the guest book. Make sure that you left your address because Nina wants to make sure to thank you for being here today. But take a pen. They were the last ones that Betty ordered for Wembley Greenhouses. So they're a limited run, and you'll definitely want one of those. Betty will be interred at a later date at Emerson Cemetery beside her son, Dan. I'd like to close with a commendation that prepares us to let go of Betty from this earthly life. Betty, you are so dearly loved. You are in our hearts and minds, and we'll carry you with us as we move forward with our lives. Everything you have done is still done. Everyone you love is still loved. And everything we've learned from you is still learned. And so we will let you pass from this world for which you did so much, for which you continue to do. Because when we walk this earth, we walk it with you. You leave us with the strength and pride to do what is good and right, and your memory will guide us, just as you did when you were at our side. And for this we say thank you and farewell.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full. I traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, more, much more than this, I did it my way. Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off I fill my share of losing, and now as tears subside, I find it all